On today's High Watt Soundbite, we're getting creative under lockdown. Well, no question, these are unprecedented times we're living in. I mean, this global pandemic, the scale of this thing is just unbelievable. And I'm sending out my very best energy to anybody who's been affected by this thing. You know, my hope is that you and your families are able to just stay safe during this time. Now, this whole business of being under lockdown, this is something that we're quite familiar with up here north of the border. I mean, winter sometimes just will not let go. Sometimes it'll just kind of grasp onto January and February. And for the most part, it just gets bitterly cold outside. And it sort of forces you into being in lockdown. So yesterday I came down to the studio inspired to really make the best of this kind of lockdown situation. Why not sit down and jam out a brand new idea, create a multi-track and go ahead and share that with the community? I mean, certainly there have to be some other people out there in the community that are experiencing the same thing as us. You know, there aren't a lot of options. You can't really go out and do much of anything. You're socially distancing yourself. What better way to kind of socially distance yourself and isolate yourself than locking yourself in the studio like I did yesterday? So if there's anyone in the community that would like to collaborate and contribute something to this track I'm about to play, I'm going to make this multi-track available on a download link right in the description of this video. If you go ahead and get inspired and feel like adding something to this track and collaborating, I'm going to create an upload link that allows you to upload your parts right up till April 1st. At that point, I'll download it all, I'll go through everything, and we'll come back to this track and sort of do a community build on it, introduce people's parts and sort of make sense of it all. So here's the bed track that I laid down yesterday. Check it.
Okay, we got Zico right on the money. Roger, understand Zico. Transmission is coming to you approximately halfway between the moon and the earth. Background and just huge covers of white clouds. Particularly one very strong vortex up near the Terminator. Very, very beautiful.
This track is purely fun, and all of these sounds that are included in this multi-track, you're welcome to use them, to add them to your own library, to use them in other compositions. Absolutely yours to do whatever you like with. I have no intentions of registering this song, it's just for fun. So if anybody contributes parts, let's just assume right now that if you're going to upload parts to me, that you're okay with me releasing this track on the channel. I'm never going to register this track. It's just going to live in a session on the channel. So if you're cool with that, by all means, upload a couple of tracks and contribute to this thing, and let's collaborate together and make something really fun. I'm just going to zip through this thing really quick and sort of describe what some of these tracks are and where they came from. Well, so the voices that I'm using out of this Apollo mission, that's all public domain. Those recordings are available for anybody to use. So here they are soloed.
Okay, we got Zico right on the money. Roger, understand Zico. Transmission is coming to you approximately halfway between the moon and the earth.
Yeah, there's something very cool about the voices in that Apollo mission. All those like beeps on the radio and all that stuff. Just so cool and so effective in tracks. So I got my guitar out yesterday and I absolutely swamped it in effects. And I came up with this track. It's pretty cool. Well, you're going to notice in some of these tracks that I went in and did quite a bit of sidechain compression with that kick drum on the main mix. In other words, every time that kick drives, the whole mix is kind of dipping a little bit, right? Kind of a classic effect. Well, I really, really dug it, so I decided to put that effect in place while I tracked everything. So a lot of the tracks that we're hearing, as soon as that kick drum starts slamming, you're going to hear the ducking going on, and overall it just adds up to a cool sound. Got this really cool buzzy sound coming from the modular, and it accentuates the bass in a really, really cool way. Here it is by itself. And with the bass, it just adds this really cool tone. I love stuff like that. You know, just really odd sounds that end up making a very musical part. So, so cool. And here's a sample I took off a radio station, just added a bunch of modulation to it. Check it. Yeah, really dig that sample. And there's another crazy radio sample I've got in here. Check this thing out. So much bottom end on that thing, it's sort of crazy. And I tracked this really simple 4-on-the-floor bass drum that goes throughout. Yeah, so obviously really simple idea, right? Very, very basic bed track. Where this thing could go, the sky's the limit. So I'm gonna make this multi-track available purely as audio files. It's just simply 8 stereo tracks. You just import them into whatever DAW you're working on and set the tempo to match the information that I've got in that folder. And you're off to the races. You can do absolutely anything you like to these tracks, include adding them to your own libraries. So let's make the most of this crazy situation by collaborating on something together.
Approximately halfway between the moon and the earth.